7 o'clock tonight is the August 17th meeting of the Planning Commission of Village of Leonard. I'd like to open up the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Quick invocation, help us make the right decisions and good planning decisions for the Village of Leonard. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. I'll do a roll call since Doug is absent with excuse. Leslie McKenna here, Paul Almirante, Jennifer,
Here?
and Lori.
Here.
Okay. Next, in front of you, you have the minutes for the February 16th Planning Commission meeting.
Wow.
If you want to just take a minute to look it over.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, note the records. All in favor?
Yeah, aye.
Aye. Who did first and second?
Zelnok first, Swack second.
Oh, that was a minute, sorry. Didn't
Yeah,
have
that
the
was-
order again.
Right.
All right, the agenda is in front of you. If I could get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Oops.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, having no audience, we have no audience, business. Planning Commission business. In April, which we didn't have an April meeting, but this would suffice as the April meeting, we're supposed to renew our, positions. Doug's not here. In absence, we'll approve his secretary enactment. If he has an objection to it, we could address it at a later date, but I believe that he'll be fine with that.
Okay.
So I will still be, planning commission, the chair of the planning commission, and, Jennifer is still the liaison to the council.
Mhm.
If someone could make a motion to address those three issues, we can just, add that to the,
Can
I-
they be all as one, or do they need to be separate motions for Doug, Leslie, and you?
Which one?
I would think they could go together. Doesn't
I was gonna say,
matter.
then we'll just make it a detailed motion and say, I will make a motion to approve Leslie as a continued chair, Doug as a continued secretary, and Jennifer Swack as a continued liaison to the council.
And I second your motion.
Okay, so let's council. Mary the second. And Jennifer the motion. Okay. We don't have any other planning commission business. Does anyone else have any things they want to bring up? I'll ask again when it comes to that section, but, the village council update in regards to planning commission, matters would be, let's see.
Maybe the ordinance update, or no?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
The Village of Leonard Council approved some changes to our current ordinance number 1.013, which is code, part of the code enforcement, the code ordinance, I should say. In section 10.2, they had just a minor change of wording to delete a word "or" and put it in the correct spot because there were too many words there. A person shall not abuse, mistreat, torment, or mistreat an animal was the correction. There was a minor correction in section 18.2, changing ordinance to section. It didn't change anything as far as that goes. But the bigger change was all-terrain vehicles and dirt bikes. The purpose of this subsection was to regulate the use of all-terrain vehicles and dirt bikes to protect the operators of such vehicles and to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Leonard. So we defined, we didn't define, the attorneys pulled together other areas, other municipalities, came together and gave us a little bit more detail on what an all-terrain vehicle is, dirt bike is, what private property is, what a racetrack means when it's on property, who's to be using the bike, limits access to if someone's going to trespass on your property, they need to have written approval. There are some setbacks and some property limits, some time limitations, keeping the ATV or dirt bike recreational use not to be between the hours of 8 p.m. and 7 a.m., and not to be more than 60-minute sections with a 1-hour rest in the middle of it. So you're not hearing this constant. And that was basically the overview.
Okay. When I read that myself, I thought 60-minute with a 60-minute section, rest session, it seemed like you could run your bike every other hour.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And they don't, my experience with the usage, there's usually breaks because people will hop off of it, hop back on it. They're changing things out, they're gassing back up, they're breaking stuff. So it's usually not a consistent, I think there have been complaints in the village about usage, several. And I know that some of the residents have been personally addressed by neighbors. And that was about all that
I think for
happened, so.
smaller parcels, the nice thing about it is, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going from memory, 50 or 60 feet?
50.
50 feet from property line.
Yes.
So at least you won't have somebody running a track right next to another person's fence, let's say they're having a barbecue or something like that, because,
Yeah.
that
Right,
it
it
would
would
noisy,
ruin it, yeah.
it really would.
And there are
So-
some residents that have dirt bikes and they will ride it for like a 5 minute. They just kind of tool around, and that bothers nobody.
Mhm.
So it's not that person. It's not to limit the usage. It's just to limit the constant
Mhm.
usage that does get
And then there
to the
was
nerves of some of the
Put in
residents.
place, they talked about how the enforcement, a warning, then
Yeah.
a written warning, and then a ticket.
Yeah, and Mike is he's usually the one that responds, and he's very, he's
Works with it.
accommodating, and, he's trying to get people to understand what it is that they're affecting. So,
Mhm.
I've seen him do this, so.
Mhm. And any other, you want to update on the vacant house, was it 4285?
4285 Forest has a court action now. So that property, I can't remember what he was going after now,
It was an attractive nuisance.
oh, that's right.
We're not allowed to enter the property or secure the property because it's
That's
considered
right.
trespassing. But the doors have been,
They're
ajar,
constantly
have been
open.
locked, and then now with the roof caving in,
Yeah,
it's a dangerous situation. That was one. I feel like the other one was, I think, to address the violations only for the fact that we continue to reach out to Kaja Holdings,
Yep.
Mhm.
but they're not responsive. And as a matter of fact, they did not show up at court today.
oh, of course, because they're not here locally.
Right.
And they do have the house up for sale on auction. I did not follow it to the end of auction, but halfway through in our council meeting, there were no bids for 70,000, the minimum bid. And I didn't expect there to be any
No.
at anything like that. So but it did list it as private, so obviously they have not moved this, they haven't changed hands. It's still Kaja Holdings.
Mhm.
And it's possible that maybe they will attempt to put it up for sale locally then, or something like that, because they already tried auctioning it and that didn't work.
Mhm.
So hopefully there's some interest to move it out of their hands and into somebody else's anyhow, so.
Right. Yeah.
Now, would a new buyer locally be able to bring it back up to standard?
With enough money. With
Does it
enough money,
even
you
have
can
a
do it just
working
to,
well? I heard, does it even have working septic? I heard that
Uh,
something, one or the
I
other
wouldn't be
is
surprised.
not working, and I'm not sure.
Well, I would doubt that the house was
Officially, I don't
properly,
know.
my guess is the house was not properly closed when somebody exited the building. So
Frozen pipe issues.
frozen pipe, seized well,
Mhm.
softener system that's trashed. I think
Right.
it, you know, obviously with a big hole in the roof, it's gonna have water in it. There will be mold, there will be water damage, there will be all sorts of things.
Is the hole in the roof in the back?
It is on the south side of the house toward the back, yes. And at first, my husband, we went back and forth. I said, that's a hole. And he's like, no, it's just an issue with it's a hole.
Mm.
You can see, it's a big enough hole to see.
Right.
But anything can be brought back. But in order to do that, someone's gonna probably have to get it for about 10 or 15,000, not 70, you know, to
Right.
make it worth it. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and if it needs to be torn down, now that's a hazmat situation because of its age.
Are you kidding me?
Lead paint and asbestos could be an issue, so it's not gonna be a cheap tear down either. Yeah,
That's interesting to me, because
Yeah.
I watched them just demo that old
Right.
building, you know, over where the little marina area
Yes.
is, over at Lakeville Lake. And
yes.
I didn't see a whole lot of remediation going on
They
there.
may have had,
Hmm.
they may have had it on the inside, they may have
Already done it?
already done it. It's
Oh.
possible if they took everything, because there were no walls on the inside of that one. So if they did it from the
Right.
inside out, they may
Mhm.
have
That
eliminated the
explains it,
issue.
Because when I saw them coming by with the backhoe at
Yes.
that point,
They were
somebody had
already,
stripped the walls.
yep, they were all, I did notice everything was clear on the
It's
inside.
not gone, no, the building's just.
Not all of it.
stripped to a part. They're gonna rebuild something.
They
around it.
must be doing, well, and that gets, I think that gets around new building versus
Right.
old building.
Right,
If they continue to use a portion of it, so,
right.
I don't know, it could just be a,
This is the property, right where's the,
Fishing part, or the fishing, the lake. This
Yeah.
is not an R,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, the Lakeville Lake one.
Lakeville.
oh, okay.
yep. You'll see the old marina or whatever that was, the old fishing,
Oh.
I can't remember what her name was, but
We were referencing it in relation to hazmat, lead paint or asbestos.
Yeah.
Removal, that would be expensive.
What would that cost for that house? Something like
You
that,
know,
maybe,
I-
so we don't know if there's asbestos in there. Can we
Correct.
make a determination?
it's entirely possible, it's completely safe.
Okay.
It's entirely possible. The likelihood is there.
You don't know the age of the home?
I'm
Okay.
guessing
It's a
early
guess.
1900s based on its,
Oh.
its look, is my
Yeah,
guess, is
I would say,
early 1900s.
So hard to tell.
yeah, between 1890 and 1910.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, so
Mm.
it's possible that it doesn't have anything. I mean, it's safer to live in than it is to tear down, because you can just paint over everything.
Okay,
Everything can be painted over, but,
okay.
If you had an issue where you had lead paint and you painted over it, isn't that remediated when you tear it down?
it's encapsulated. No, because as soon as you break the outside layer, now you've exposed the inside layer, the lead paint, and then when that breaks, now it's poofed into the air. So that's why they'll tent it, because everything has to be broken and then settle, and then removed, and then you've got it. So yeah, it's,
No kidding.
yeah.
Yeah, did not know.
Okay, any other planning commissioners' questions or concerns? Nothing? Okay. I have nothing else. If anyone wants to make a motion to adjourn,
I can make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I will second.
It is 7:15.
yay. Very good, thank you.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. All in favor?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
All right.